Welcome back, folks, to Let's Play Ultima VIII, and when last we left the Avatar, we were involved in the ritual that summoned Pyros to this symbol. Malchir sought to use some of his power, using the knowledge that Malchir has of the sun's existence as a feeble excuse to drain some of that power. Of all the Titans, Pyros is the one that is the most honest about his intentions. If free, Pyros would seek to kill absolutely everyone, starting with Malchir. Malchir, however, couldn't get as much power as he wanted because we were the weak link in this circle. After all, we had only just become an acolyte. It seems like only yesterday that we weren't anyone in the Enclave, probably because it was only yesterday. We haven't rested that many times after all. We were punished for our failure by being hit by a fireball that did absolutely nothing. We're still at maximum health, likely because of this awesome shield. The shield that we found in the Obsidian Fortress when passing our tests. We have some really awesome equipment now. Now that we're an acolyte, we really want to find out how we can save Tenebrae, though. Tenebrae is in a lot of bother. And so, we must go and talk to Bane, the first acolyte, and the person who got us into the Enclave's order. Do not enter. The door is locked. Is that because Bane's moved to where Vardian lives? That would be a nice touch if that were the case, and it does seem to be that that has happened. That is really neat. Maybe this is our home now, because we're an acolyte and we need somewhere to live. That is now the Avatar's home. It's not a bad building. Let us go in here, to the place that Bane lives. First Acolyte Bane, and that is a really nice touch. Let us go in and say hello, and you did not take care of Vardian's remains. I thought you might do that. Let's just put Vardian over here, shall we? A little bit out of the way. Maybe a bit further out of the way. There we go! Let's have a conversation, shall we? We need to talk about Tenebrae. I am sorry, Acolyte. I have no time for conversation. My duties as first acolyte preclude idle discussion. And so, we cannot talk about Tenebrae. Maybe Baron can talk to us about Tenebrae? Perhaps Baron can give us some advice, something that we can do. I hope we can do something. Otherwise, Tenebrae is in some serious bother. Hydros is doing what Pyros most certainly would like to do if given the opportunity. Killing everyone on Pagan. We most certainly don't want Hydros to do that. So let us go and talk to Baron and get some advice. Hello. I must commend you on destroying that lumbering Thorax Vardian. He would have driven the sorcerers into obscurity. I have no time to speak at the moment. Matters press upon my time. Farewell. Well, you're not any help. That means we're going to have to go and talk to Malchir. And considering Malchir's patience is extremely thin at the best of times, I don't think doing this is a good idea, but we have no alternative. We need to save Tenebrae. And so off we go to the Obsidian Fortress, and if that isn't a sign that we're not welcome, I don't know what is. The door's closing as we arrive. Malchir going, oh no, somebody's come to see me. Go away. Oh, you open the door. You are a fool. I get the feeling that seeing Malchir is not going to end well at all. And where is Arcadian? Arcadian appears to have vanished. I wonder if Arcadian has gone to Britannia. Who knows? Either way, Arcadian is not here. And we need to save, because I don't trust that things are going to end well if we go and see Malchir. But we have to try. We do need to save Tenebrae. And so off we go. This should take us straight to where Malchir is. And we'll go and have a conversation. At least I hope we'll have a conversation. Hello, Malchir. I did not send for you, insolent child. This fortress is my refuge, and for breaking its sanctity, you must die. Okay, we're going to have a fight. Have at thee! Let us use this weapon and attack you as much as we can, because you started trying to attack us, and so we're just defending ourselves here. We need to move a little bit closer and hit you a few more times. And it would seem that you have been defeated. You call yourself the Master, eh, Malchir? Turns out that somebody with a sword managed to kill you just fine. Admittedly, that someone was the Avatar, and the sword happened to make tons of fire, but either way, swords versus sorcery, looks like swords win again. I guess this makes the Avatar the Master now. Because the Master is dead at the Avatar's hand, we are now the leader of the Enclave of Sorcerers, and there are a lot of things that Malchir has, including the Tongue of Flame. We definitely want that. We also want to read about the Tongue of Flame if there's any book about it. There's also some magic arm guards here if we didn't have any. We do have some. Let's give this book a read. The Tongue of Flame. This object, named by Korodin, the first Master Sorcerer, has been handed down from Master to Master since the binding of Pyros. It is the key to the power of the Sorcerers. If you are reading this book, then most likely you are now the Master Sorcerer, having either outlived or killed the Master. As such, I admonish you to keep both this book and the tongue always in a safe place, away from prying eyes. The tongue was used in the binding to house a portion of Pyros' being. This allows all sorcerers to call upon his powers in the ways that we have defined as spells. The rituals involved are used to provide protection for the sorcerer creating the enchantment. Another power that the tongue imparts to the one who wields it is the ability to amplify the power of spells and spell foci. Perhaps its most important purpose is its capability to summon forth and banish Pyros himself. This is a truly dangerous exercise and requires 4 acolytes, but the rewards can be great. His knowledge is often useful, and his power is seemingly limitless, as is his temper. Should he become free in this ritual of fire, as is quite possible, know that you have most likely doomed Morgalen to a flaming death. A final warning. Should the Tongue of Flame ever enter the Great Pentacle, the fate of all pagans will be sealed. The Lord of Flame shall be rejoined with the power in the tongue, and as a result, he will be forever unbound. Written by Tordium, Master of the Cabal. I get the feeling that is what we're going to have to do. Because to defeat Pyros, once and for all, we're going to have to free Pyros. My only hope is that doing so will mean that Pyros' power will counter Hydros' abilities to flood Pagan. We'll just leave Malchir here, the dead mage. And we will take his staff, which is the best focus for sorcery, if the book that we read is to be believed. Let us just grab that, shall we? There we go, it is now ours. We are now the greatest sorcerer in the Enclave. It seems like only yesterday that we walked in here knowing absolutely no spellcasting, and wait, it was yesterday! We went from nobody to the leader in less than 24 hours. That is very typical of the Avatar. He just waltzes into a situation, and within a matter of hours or days, he has become the master of all magic there, and has pretty much solved most of the problems. That, or he walks around the entire of Britannia having not talked to somebody in the first town. Let us grab this weapon, the Blade of Striking. It doesn't sound very powerful, but we will take it because it's a magic weapon, and we need to hoard every single item that is seemingly even vaguely valuable. We'll take that. It's probably not that heavy, likely just 1 weight. There we go, and it is 1 weight. There's a book here that we can read. The Destruction of the Temple, by Nadya of Tenebrae. The early days of the Great Temple were a dark time. The blood from the wars flowed freely as Pagan fought Zealand in the grand struggle of religious cleansing. Battles were planned and executed, lives were lost, all in the name of archaic beliefs. All the while, pagans toiled daily to construct the Great Temple on the apex of Mount Morgalen, as commanded by the benevolent being called the Guardian, who is not at all benevolent. The fear of the Destroyer was strong. Years of sweat ultimately resulted the temple's completion. There, the pagan leaders met to focus their energies into the worship of the elementals. Tremendous magical forces were used to collect a strange black mineral and shape it into a large, dark obelisk. We need to likely collect and recreate that obelisk. From inside the temple, the followers channeled their thoughts through the obelisk to the 4 elements, giving them even greater power. Soon they had amassed enough energy to become the great titans of earth, water, air, and fire. The war continued, but now the pagans had considerable assistance. Lithos moved the lands to trap the Zealands, while Hydros removed her waters from their reach. Pyros' fire raged and grew, fueled by the wind of Stratos. It was only a matter of attrition before the Zealands and their petty beliefs fell. Then came the Guardian's final words of warning. "Take your people and depart from the temple. The Destroyer has come." As the pagans left the temple, the red head of the destroyer filled the darkened sky, its yellow orb-like eyes staring malevolently at the mountain top. Then, out from those very eyes, lightning shot out, striking the temple. A few moments later, and the great edifice was no more. The cry of shock was heard throughout the land. The pagans pleaded for the aid of the Titans. They were not disappointed. The 4 Titans appeared to challenge the invader. The land was all but destroyed by rock, rain, wind and fire hailed down from above. The battle was long and fierce. Finally, however, the Titans returned victorious. The land, though scarred from a terrible fight, was still theirs. There was nothing left of the temple. No ruins, no stones, no dust. However, there are legends that claim the great obelisk was shattered into several fragments, spewed across the island when the mountain was hit by the destroyer's bolts of lightning. The locations of the fragments are known only as rumours. Such stories indicate that each of the Titans possesses one of the fragments, either as a source of power or to keep the other Titans in check, since the Black Stone seems to be an anathema to the Titans. That is something we need to know. The first fragment, called the Heart of Earth, fell to Lithos, who keeps it in the fabled Pit of Death. Hydros set hers, the Tear of the Seas, on the floor of the ocean in a deep undersea city. The third fragment, the Breath of Air, is said to be on the island of Stratos' followers. A fourth fragment fell to the lands that became the cemetery, though many years later it was given to the first fire sorcerers and used to bind the Titan of Fire to their will. There is considerable speculation about the fifth fragment. Apparently, the tip of the great obelisk was seen hurling through the air entirely intact. However, no one ever saw the item land, so its location remains a mystery. It is currently in the Avatar's backpack, along with the Tongue of Flame and the Breath of Air. Were all of the fragments to be gathered together and taken to an area near the location of the ancient temple, it might be possible to recreate the effects of the obelisk. Of course, it would still be necessary to fabricate a magical field of some sort to channel the energy from whatever source first gave the obelisk power. I think we have figured out what we need to do to escape Pagan. And we need all of the power of the Titans to do it, I think. We need all of it. Anything useful here? Lots of candles. We don't need them. What is over here? Let's see. Ah! Here's a spell that we haven't read about. Conflagration. This summoning will temporarily bring into our realm a demonic force of destructive nature. All foes, and indeed everything around, will feel its wrath, since the sorcerer will remain unharmed. All red candles, lots of reagents, oh my, lots of reagents. Multiple reagents, in fact, at various locations. We're gonna take that book. We want that book for our extensive library of books. We'll just take that. After all, we are now the master. We can have all of these books. They're all ours now, Avatar. Everything here is yours. I said before that building in the Enclave was yours. Now this is yours. We'll just move Malchir away, shall we? Let's see, you can go over there, and then over here. We can't move you that far. That's fine. I have a suitable location for you. Just put you there. And then over, just need to be a little bit closer, it would seem, over here, just in the corner, away from everyone. I wonder if everyone in the Enclave is going to react to the fact that we have killed Malchir. That would be interesting, but then again, how would they even know? Because it's not like we told them. There we go, Malchir is out of the way, now we shall leave, and return to the Enclave. We are now the master of the sorcerers, and the first thing we're likely going to do is we're going to rob the sorcerers of all of their power. Because by unleashing Pyros, we will be denying them their sorcerer's abilities. Let us just leave and go and talk to everyone. Bane, and then Baron, and then Gorgrond. We may even talk to Gorgrond. It's probably a terrible idea, and the door closes behind us. Isn't that handy? So we are now the master. I wonder if these two have anything to say about that. Let us go and say hello, shall we? Hello. I shall have to learn how to banish demons as soon as possible. I have nothing to say. I'm not even going to acknowledge the fact that you are now the master. Hello! Remember when I was a disciple? Turns out I'm now the master. I now rank above you. I've only been here less than 24 hours. Hello. If it would not be too much to ask, Master, I would like to become your first acolyte. I can learn the duties involved very quickly, and I promise you will not find my abilities wanting. Will you accept me? Yes, I will. Thank you, Master. You won't regret this decision. No problem. Let us talk to you again. Perhaps you can help us figure out how to save Tenebrae. I hope I am performing my duties to your satisfaction, but I will attempt to improve them further. I must go now to return to my studies. No problem, Bane. You're not going to help us. Fair enough, we'll just leave and talk to Baron. I imagine Baron now has some time for us, considering the fact that we are the Master. And as the Master, we will study precisely no sorcery, and our first act as Master will likely be to ruin everything that sorcery is by freeing Pyros. I don't see any alternative. I think we have to do this. It's not going to end well in the short term, but in the long run, it's probably the only hope that Pagan has that we best Pyros once and for all at some point. Hello. Whatever you need, Master, please take with my blessings. I will not disturb you unless you have need of my presence. Until then, I shall remain your humble servant. Aha! We now have permission to take anything that we want. That's good. No avatar tax is required when everything is ours to take. It almost takes the fun out of it. Let us go and talk to Gorgrond. I imagine you are not going to be happy that we have become the Master. Let us just go and say hello. There's absolutely nothing that we can say to you, but at least you're not going to try and kill us now. We probably want to go and talk to Mythran before we do anything silly. We really want to talk to Mythran. I don't want to unleash Pyros until I know that there is absolutely no alternative. It's been a very long time since I've been here, but last time I was here we barely knew any magic at all. Now we pretty much know every magic spell that ever is, including one that we didn't find in the library in the Enclave. Good day, Kikoskia. Hello, Mythran. Ah, greetings, traveller. How fare things? I found this with the sorcerers. That piece of black stone? It is not obsidian, that much is obvious. I wonder if it could be... You say it came from the sorcerers, eh? It is possible you have found one of the fragments of the obelisk in the ancient temple. Somewhere I have a book that might delve into greater detail. You're welcome to it if you can find it. I would strongly suggest that you study it closely before we continue our discussion. May I have another potion? Aye, my friend. I have had time to concoct another. Here. Thank you. Let us pretend that we have talked about that, because I think we pretty much rather that I've read that book. Good day, Kikoskia. Hello, Mythran. How fare things? I want to recreate the obelisk. Recreate the obelisk? Do you mean that you wish reconstruct the Blackrock obelisk of the Great Temple? Of course! You are hoping to use the conduit as a way to leave Pagan. I know just the spell you will need. You must cast the ethereal travel spell. I do not know where the spell will send you on your first attempt, though I expect the Titans will intervene and direct your journey. Should you encounter and defeat them, know that you would have the worship and admiration of all pagans. Good luck. You are ready for the final spell that I can teach you, the spell that permits travel through the very ether itself. As you know, my friend, I am still forced to charge a modicum of obsidian for the knowledge I impart. I must ask 250 in obsidian. I don't think I have that on hand. My friend, it seems you have not the obsidian for this. Of course, I realize you are not attempting to fool me, but perhaps you should return later when you can pay the fee. So what we need to do is we need to recreate the Blackrock obelisk, and we can use that as a conduit to escape from Pagan. And in doing so, or trying to do so, the Titans will try to stop us. And then we must defeat them. And defeating them, I imagine, will permanently stop them from using their powers within Pagan, if it doesn't kill them outright. Which means that in doing so, in escaping Pagan, the Avatar will be saving Pagan from the wrath of the Titans. As terrible as the idea of freeing Pyros is, we're going to have to free Pyros. We need to if we're going to save Pagan. It sounds really bad, and I imagine that everyone in Tenebrae won't agree if the Avatar tried to explain it to them. But it is the only thing that we can do. It is the thing that we must do. To save Pagan, we must put it in danger of being destroyed. For only with the Obelisk reconstructed, and only with us trying to go through the ether to get to the point where we can power the Obelisk, which will need to use all of the Titan's powers to do so, can we escape Pagan. We need to channel the power of the Titans into the Blackrock Obelisk, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is by defeating the Titans. And I imagine the only way we can do that with Pyros is if Pyros isn't contained within that symbol in the Enclave. We're going to have to free Pyros so that we can use his power as a conduit within the Blackrock Obelisk, saving Pagan by putting it in danger of being destroyed. It's a dangerous gambit, but it's the only gambit that we have, the only way that we can escape Pagan, save the people of Tenebrae, and ultimately try and stop the Guardian from his schemes, which at the moment seem to be focused on conquering Britannia and Earth, although that said, we only have the Guardian's word on that. For all we know, the Guardian could be sat there in a tavern, drinking ale, eating fish and chips, and going, "Oh, that Avatar, thinking that I'm conquering Earth and Britannia, but all I'm doing is enjoying the hearty company within this tavern. It's so warm and relaxing in here, and the company is good." I suppose I should send another message to the Avatar now, just to keep him on his toes. I do so enjoy the cries of torment. Oh, he's going to be worrying for days about that one. And so, when we come back, folks, we're going to recover the pieces of Blackrock that we don't yet have. We need to find the one that Hydros hid. We need to find the one that Lithos has hidden. And then we need to go and free Pyros from his confinement. This is a terrible idea, but we're going to have to do it. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.